Well, basically, it's what I've sort of experienced in my life is that I've had stuff go on and happen, and I've come through it, and I'm okay with that. And I have this fear of it happening again. And how do I prevent that? Because I don't want to create an experience. And if I was in an accident, or if I had a really bad experience, or something traumatizing happened to me, which has happened, and in different aspects. So am I actually creating that, or am I not quite done with it, even though I think I am, because it's reoccurring in different aspects? And how do I prevent that from happening again? I explained it much better to him. Maybe you remember what I said.
I understand. Yeah,
okay.
you got the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me explain how this works. Now there's some weird ideas floating out there, or maybe some distorted ideas, especially amongst the energy people. The question is basically, say for example, a little girl was molested at 6 months old. All right? Whatever. 5 years old. Did that child attract that to her? That's the question. Right? Because there's a lot of weird beliefs out there around this idea. The answer is, and my belief system is, I call it the shit happens syndrome. It just happens. All right? Because you raise up in an environment and say everybody in the family are abusive, the child is innocent and it happens to them. Whether they're on the school bus, whatever happens, it just happens. But there is another truth to this that does occur. So the child is innocent. She did not attract that. She didn't make it happen, period. Because she's a child. But there is another piece that I want you to be aware of. Say it happened at 5 years old, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it got sick or whatever the problem is. All right, so inside this child, it has a recording system, which the unconscious mind records that event. To the unconscious mind, it has no judgment to what happens. That means it happens, this is life, this is how it is, and this is how you're to operate with it. Period. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, this is normal. All right? All right. Then, inside this child, let's say the child has memories of events. All right? And then it progresses through life. What happens to the child, it will use its data from that point forward. We have a tendency to use what we experience and hold. You can't use somebody else's because they're not yours unless you internalize and create something new. So now here it is. This child grows up. It will use its resources and it could add to or create new resources that are more positive. So, like with your story, all right, you've had some bad things happen to you. Did you attract those to you? That's a real good question. We have a tendency to taint the world from our perceptions. We have a tendency to robotically repeat, re-experience what we're holding. Naturally. This is a part of a law of attraction that is definitely working on our behalf, even if you hate it. So what happens inside this individual? All right, you're talking about accidents or something that happened to you. So inside your mind, you have memory. And you say you don't like it, you don't want it to happen. But if you're replaying, rehearsing, rewatching, re-experiencing what happens, is it happening? As you remember. This is like you're an actor on the play. You're rehearsing your lines, and then one day the stage is there, and you know how to act. You know how to respond, and you know how to make it happen again. Am I making sense here? So, all right, this had happened. The child is innocent. It did nothing wrong. But from that moment on, what determines the child's outcome is what she does or he does with the information. Now, is that clear? Now, by the way, is the child bad because she follows through or he follows through and continues? The answer is no. There is no bad. Just what is. Now, if you want something better and you don't want it to happen again, this is what you got to do. You got to change all your resources so it won't happen again. Because, see, you're going to taint it. You're going to see it, feel it as if it's re-experienced again. That happens with pain. It happens with any other issue. Because you have a tendency to build on what you know, and you build a life from your inner workings and your inner recordings. So if you don't like what you're now getting and you have a fear that it's going to happen again, the fear in of itself will let it happen again, if only in your mind. All right, that's how the law of attraction works. There is a point that, oh shit, just happens. Just what happens. It's what you do with it. Now, some people will have one bad experience and never repeat it again because they didn't hold on to the bad part, they let it go. They just process it in a total different way.